Why is change so hard? Look, when it comes to making positive, healthy changes in your life, you should ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? And really, it's getting out of the routine of all of those little things that you do every day that give you those easy spikes of dopamine and pleasure and whatever you want to label it. You go, well, instead of hanging out on my couch and watching a show, I gotta go to the gym? What? I'm not doing that. Now here's the other thing. The busier your life gets, the harder it is to integrate in these new healthy habits, and it just makes getting in the gym, eating the right foods so much harder. Now I can speak to this personally. I've been a dad now for 3 months. I'm having to change like 26 diapers a day, get him down for multiple naps. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but there's just so much more to do. So look, first things first, in order to avoid the dad bod, you have to first and foremost make a commitment to yourself. And I did this 4 years ago. In January of 2021, I said, look, enough is enough. I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to finally be consistent with working out and eating right. And I started tracking my food. I was very, very, very intentional, and I saw the results from it. And now that I've become a new dad, all of those habits over these last few years have been like hardwired into me. And look, it's your life, do what you want. But if you want to take any advice from me, before you even consider having kids, consider getting those healthy habits sorted out, because then once life changes and things, which they will inevitably get busier, you can fall back on those. So that's like step 0. Before we get into the few steps I want to talk about, or if you are trying to lose weight, don't let yourself get to a point to where you're just writing yourself off and being like, well, I'm just a dad now, freaking dad bod life. Dude, no. Also, if you do have kids, you should want to be a good example for them. Now, if you have found yourself with, in fact, a dad bod, or you just want to get in shape, I'm going to share with you 5 steps. It's not even that crazy, but if you follow these 5 steps, I think it can help you. But before we do, I really quick want to take a moment and tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which happens to be Element. Now, if you didn't know, Element is an electrolyte drink mix, and it's actually freaking delicious. I highly recommend replenishing your electrolytes daily. I've personally been using Element for years now, and I replenish my electrolytes with Element. I like to drink them while I'm working out, doing a sweaty cardio session, and man, I absolutely love this product. Now, what's amazing about Element is they have a science-backed ratio of electrolytes, and that is 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, as well as 60 milligrams of magnesium. And what's awesome about Element is it can prevent things like headaches and muscle cramps and fatigue and sleeplessness and other common symptoms if you're deficient in electrolytes. They don't put any sugar in it. They don't put any fillers. There's no BS in it. It's just a quality product, and it's very low calorie, but it still tastes freaking amazing. So if you want to try it, there's a link right in the description of this video. Go ahead and click on that and get yourself some Element like today. Right now, Element is offering my listeners a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way to try 8 of their flavors or share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/BryanAdamC. This deal is only available through my link, so you must go to drinkLMNT.com/BryanAdamC. So the very first step in reversing this dad bod is honestly, and emphasis on honestly, determine how much time you're actually able to spend every single day on some kind of fitness routine with strength training and cardio. Now, ideally, if you can carve out between 40 and 60 minutes every single day, that's what I would say is the bare minimum, especially if what you do for work is sitting around all day. Now, if you work a much more active job, maybe you're a server and you're running around all day, you work landscaping, construction, whatever it is, you probably won't need to do like as much cardio, but I would still recommend carving out some time for strength training. And look, it's not that hard. You just got to look at your life and say, what am I willing to be a little bit flexible in my life with here? Maybe you watch one less episode per night of Netflix, or maybe you don't play as much video games. It's so simple. Like, you can make time. I know you can. This is that first step that is probably the scariest, because you're looking at those habits and you're like, well, Tuesdays I do this and Wednesdays I do this. I'm pretty tired here, and okay, well, I don't know. Then maybe turn this video off because you got to figure something out. Now, in terms of total calories that you're eating every day, this is where it can get tricky. but you're probably too busy to actually meticulously track all of the food you're eating. So what you're going to want to do is just at least know how much protein you're eating and then fill in the rest with carbs and fats, fruits and vegetables. Now, regardless of exercise, the protein is going to stay the same. You should ideally be aiming for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, if you're very overweight, just try and aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. The reason why there's such an emphasis on this is because protein keeps you way more full during the day. This one thing alone, I've had a bunch of people over the years ask me, Bryan, what can I do in terms of diet to get in shape? And I tell them, dude, if you just ate more protein, you'll be more full and you won't be so reliant on the bag of chips and those empty calories that make you gain weight. But if you're exercising at least an hour a day, that's going to help create somewhat of a calorie deficit, which will allow you to then burn fat over time, and you will see that dad bod disappear. Also keep in mind, if you only have like 20 minutes a day to work out, then you're gonna really need to tighten up that diet even more. So the best thing to do is just be consistent with the training, be consistent with that protein goals and what you're eating, and then week after week, get on the scale, look at yourself in the mirror. Are you shrinking down? Are you losing weight? If not, then you're gonna have to cut back a bit on the food, or you're gonna have to exercise more. Now, step 3 is pretty simple. You gotta rip the band-aid off of this and be consistent. I know it's scary to look at some of these changes, but I promise you, you'll start to love some of these new habits. You get addicted to working out. Your body is very adaptable. You just got to get past that like 3 or 4 week mark, get past the 3 month mark, get past the 6 month mark. And all of a sudden you're like, this isn't so bad. And I'm not saying give up all of the other fun stuff. You don't want to become some miserable robot that hates his or her life. Then this is all pointless. I still want you to enjoy your life, but if you keep these things in mind with those first 2 steps, you can kind of have the best of both worlds here. I still eat a bunch of food and do a bunch of things that I love to do, with having a son, still exercising, and it's freaking fantastic. Step 4 is to make sure that you do moderate that indulgent stuff, the sugary stuff, booze, that 1,400 calorie slice of cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. Do you really need that? And look, I have a pro tip for you on moderating these things. Actually, I have 2 pro tips. Number 1, you know what they are. When you're looking at that big box of crumble cookies, each of the cookies being like 600 calories, and you eat like 2 of them, you know what's going on. You're not in the dark on this. So just chill on them, okay? You're also gonna feel better if you cut a lot of it out. Number 2, the best tip for these things. Are you struggling with grabbing that bag of chips? Stop buying them. Don't put them in your house. If they're not in your house to eat them, then you won't eat them. Set that hard. And the last thing, but should probably actually be the first thing, but this 5th and final step is getting quality sleep. And this could be a whole nother video in and of itself, but you must know that sleep is the foundation for fat loss, and a full gamut of your own well-being is directly connected to getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep with all of the needed sleep stages. And it will not only help your hunger levels, your hormone levels, but also your emotional levels, your brain function, and as well your actual self-control for reaching for those sugary things or reaching for the booze. Well, that's all. Follow those 5 steps and I think you will be on your way to reversing that dad bod. And look, this stuff doesn't happen overnight. So you have to make a commitment to yourself that you can be consistent. I promise you that your consistency is going to be the king of your results. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, no, I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to wake up every single day and do it. And that's the end of the discussion. There's no more discussion. And there you go. Now all of your life problems are solved. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video, friends. Peace.